last season was enamored with doesn't get minutes, but great teammate Dalen Terry. Mm-hmm. Was still trying to hold on to a little bit of faith in him being a usable player for his defensive, skill set, and maybe developing a bit more on the offensive end. Maybe it's an overreaction, but between what we saw in Summer League, which, by the way, let's not forget the 5 for 21, 6 turnovers game we saw from Dalen in Summer League. Summer League.
Can we talk about his last game when he balled out, though?
Okay, sure. You can throw that in there, too. And what we've seen from Dalen so far in these preseason games, I'm out. Did not have a lot of stock.
He's done.
In Dalen Terry. Had no property on Dalen Terry Island. Mm-hmm. I am paddling farther away from it.
You're done. You're finished.
And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying.
You're saying you're out.
I'm looking at what my eyeballs are seeing. Mm-hmm. I'm out.
You're done.
Looking at what your eyeballs are seeing.
Looking at what his eyeballs are seeing. Is what he said. Is what he said.
K. Mill said, a project.
Late night go to something.
Send him to the G League. He has talent, but he's not ready yet.
Bedtime.
What?
He's looking at what his eyeballs.
If that's honestly who you're drafting, a guy who needs that much developmental time, and I'm sure somewhere Mark K, our guy, is yelling, "That's the same thing about Patrick Williams." But okay, Patrick has shown flashes of actual NBA level talent. I call a spade, and it's a harsh spade. I don't see it with Dalen right now. I just don't.
Okay.
Yeah, those are not comparable.
Thank you.
No, they're not. Well, Patrick. Well, all right, there's no need to get into that. I'm not in disagreement on how anybody feels about Dalen Terry right now because you're right of what your eyeballs are seeing. he wasn't doing his thing. He's
listening to his eyeballs,
but his ears or his eyes are, ladies and gentlemen.
His ears are hearing what
That's right. His ears are hearing what his eyes are seeing. God damn it.
That's all five senses working together.
They're all working, and they're all confused. But they're all saying the same thing, which is he's out on Dalen Terry. I understand that, and I understand how people feel about it. I'm not out on Dalen Terry at all.
Not that I am, but just curious.
For me, I still want the development of Dalen Terry before I can be like, okay, I'm completely done with you. Like, I have to see that first. I remember Dalen Terry last year. Every time he came into the game, I watched him do something. For me, watching this right now, what he's doing feels like a regression of what I was actually watching him do in 3 minutes when he was walking into an NBA game. He always did something. He would come in for 3 minutes. I would see 2 points, 2 rebounds, an assist, a steal, and 1 block. In 3 minutes, I would see it all the time from Dalen Terry. There's something else going on right now that for me feels more mental than anything, than has something to do with his game. I see him pressing more. I know you see that. I know your ears see that. He's pressing more. He's trying super hard to try to do the things that people want him to do. Oh, you want me to be the shooter? Yes, I want to be that. Oh, you want to be ball handler? If I feel like he's just doing these things, well, I'm just like, no, man, I just need you to do you. Like, fine, I want him to go to the G League. Like, I'm excited for him to go down there and play there and continue to grow. But for me, as young as he is, I just want the dude to have time to grow before I'm just like, I'm out on him. It's not like, for me, it's not like looking at Marco. It's a whole different monster. You know what I mean? Like, because I actually see something in Dalen Terry.
So is what you see on the defensive end a disruptor, an energy guy? Damon asking in the comments, what does Dalen do well? And I think right now, that is a fair question to ask.
For me, what he does well is what he's always done well, which is be a facilitator, pass the ball very well, get up and down the floor, and finish very well. Like, Dalen actually is really – no, stop playing. He runs in transition, sir. He's good at that. That's what he's good at. Like, you want to watch his highlights, you'll see it. Like, he's good at that. He's good in transition. He's good at finding the open man. He's always been good at passing since he got here.
I will take issue with good at finishing in transition because he's not.
You don't think he's good at finishing in transition?
I do not think he's good at finishing around the rim, if that's what you're talking about.
No, I said transition, not around. I said in transition when the ball is run and they're running a break and he's on the break. When he gets the ball, he's good at finishing in transition. That's just my – I mean, we can watch the tape.
Fair.
That's cool.
I disagree.
All right, we can watch the tape.
This is such an interesting comment. Terry would be fine if this was 2010. you're not wrong. Like,
Because
I
there
just
would be
think just
depth
the
on the team?
evolution, of like the spacing and how guys will guard you.
Oh, okay.
If you can't shoot it, like
I actually don't think that's true because what he needs is like the space to be able to get downhill, right? And because what you're saying is, in my opinion, true. Like he really struggles to finish through contact. He's skinny. He needs to add more muscle. He has, but he's still, I don't think, strong enough to really finish through guys at the rim. He's also not getting above the rim. I think he's a really good athlete, but he's not like a ferocious dunker from what
Not
we've
ferocious,
seen
no.
so far. So what does he need to do in order to get to the rim? He needs to be able to get there somehow. And I think he is a good player in transition. I think he has good passing instincts. But what he struggles with is finishing at the rim, getting to the rim, and I think I've said this a million times now. Because he's not a good ball handler and because he's not a good shooter, you can sag off of him. You don't have to guard him.
Yes, you can cheat off him for sure.
You can just wait in the paint, you can clog up the paint, and not worry about him because he's not going to make a shot, right? So if you're Dalen and you can't shoot, you can't make guys pay for defending you that way, what do? You have to, when the ball is reversed to you, you have to get downhill somewhere. But his handle is not tight enough to where he can make guys pay for that either.
I agree.
He can't slither around you. He can't, just find a way to get into the paint even when the defense is closing out on him, if they are closing out on him. So if he's not able to do that, it's difficult to draw help.
Correct.
It's difficult to draw a second defender, and that's when you're able to put your passing on display. That's when you can be that connective passer. I do not think he is like a table setter kind of point guard, but I think he has really good connective passing capabilities where maybe he does get a reversal pass, he can attack a closeout and find the next guy. I think he's really good at that. I think he's a really good passer in transition. But if he's not being guarded and he can't go through a guy, it's like, when can you unlock those skills? It's just really difficult to do it. So for me, I see the things that, like, you said you want him to, he's doing the things that he's being told to do, right? Stand in the corner and shoot threes. That's not his game.
It's not at all.
But he needs to be able to do that for him to do the things that are in his game. Because otherwise he's not being guarded. And it doesn't work if he's the pure point guard because he can't get by guys. And it doesn't work if he's attacking closeouts because nobody's closing out on him.
Closing out on him because he can't shoot. Yeah.
In order to do the things that are in his game, the things that he is good at, he needs to develop those role skills.
Correct. Which is why he can go to the G League and get with that.
Yeah, but it also just doesn't look like he's made a lot of progress on the jump shot. I mean, he airballed the three today. It's a bummer because I do think that he has real NBA skills that can help a team. I really do like the defense. The attention, the effort, just like getting into guys. He does a lot of
definitely has a motor.
Long. He's got a great motor, but it's just hard to put those skills on display when people aren't guarding you. And then it's like you're not just like a zero, you're being a negative factor right out there because now there's 5 guys guarding 4. And it's a lot harder to get into the paint for anybody else. It's a lot harder to draw closeouts when you've got a free safety, an extra guy who can just do that, and you're not drawing any extra defenders. So it's difficult for him right now, and you can see it's clearly affecting his confidence, which isn't making shooting jump shots any easier.
Yeah, he's definitely forcing, man, and that's the thing I don't want to see him doing. He's at his best when he's just being free and not actually thinking about those things. Everything you just said, when he's not thinking about that stuff and actually playing, he's a better basketball player because he uses those other kind of abilities and intangibles to be a better basketball player when he's not worried about, oh, man, I got to get this dribble right. Oh, man, I got to get this shot right. No, bro, just play the game that we know that you can play, or I've seen you play. Do that, and I promise you it will be fine for you. But he's focusing on those other things, which isn't a bad thing to focus on. It's not terrible. But for him, it doesn't seem to work for him that way. Like, he has to play the way that he wants to play, not the way somebody else wants him to play.
We all silly like the mayor.